It seems that over this week, it's more than just the usual suspects coming out now and saying she has to move on. We've seen countless MPs from the Tory side, and not just the really hardcore ERG Eurosceptics who are saying this. I think there was a collective sense of sadness, really, when Theresa May stood inside Downing Street on Wednesday evening and didn't announce anything different, didn't announce any sort of change, and that's what everyone on all sides of this debate are pining for right now.
Tom, is she the right person to find the common ground?
Clearly not. She hasn't been able to find it for the last 3 years. And what I find totally extraordinary about this is that the spinners in Number 10 were walking about the bars of Westminster after the speech, decrying it as a great success, saying that this was an amazing stroke of strategic communication genius. And we only needed to look at the reaction, not just on Twitter, but in the media the morning after, to see that they had totally struck the wrong tone. They are so isolated within their bunker mentality. This feels really like the end of the sort of Gordon Brown days of government. We're seeing the Prime Minister so isolated, not just from Parliament in general, but her own party now. And really something has to change.
What we need now is to take the heat out of all of this. I don't think good decisions are made when people are, this frantic, in such a frenzy. What we need to do is have a long extension and then take a breath and work it out.
This is extraordinary. The idea that having a long extension would do anything other than turn up the temperature in this fraught political debate is for the birds. The idea that pursuing a second referendum would take the heat out of this, we saw what happened during the last referendum.
The
way that we go into, under a long extension, we go into European elections where Nigel Farage is now leading the new Brexit party. Other parties may not stand. I know many Conservative MPs wouldn't even be voting for the Conservative Party in that situation.
Well,
what we would see is a totally fraught political culture. You think things are hot now. I can't imagine what they'd look like under that situation.
What we want to do is to make it stop, Tom, and the way to make it stop...
You make it stop? Make it stop! More referendums, more elections?
The way to make it stop is you...
Well, the Brexiteers in Cabinet have obviously reconciled themselves to the Prime Minister's deal as almost the only way to guarantee the cleanest break we can have. And what we've seen is about half the ERG are now actively considering voting for the deal as well, because what I worry about is that we have a two-thirds Remain Parliament. Last Thursday there was a vote on no deal. 202 members of Parliament voted to keep no deal as the legal default, and 412 members of Parliament voted to remove it as the legal default. I'm not sure that this is a Parliament that would allow no deal to go through in any sense, and I say that with massive regret because I think that would be the best option for the country right now. But I just think that this is a balance of risk now.
Also,
and it seems that if the deal is voted down, it's more likely than not that will head towards something that looks a lot more like Norway than something that looks a lot more like no deal. The Prime Minister's deal, as it stands, is basically Jeremy Corbyn's deal. The reason why the ERG are so reluctant to back it, why I think it's such a terrible deal, is that it might lead us towards a permanent customs union. The backstop contains a permanent customs union. The red lines that the Labour Party have set out in terms of what they want their deal to look like are identical to the Prime Minister's deal, other than the political declaration, which is non-binding. So you can see they're clearly playing political games here. It would be nice for a political party, for a UK political party that wasn't the Conservative Party, to have a female leader for once. It hasn't happened to any other party.
It's a massive life decision, and I'm not taking it.
Is that really a party?
But you're considering
not UK-wide.
it.
Not UK-wide.
OK. Rory, thank you. Now, a different question.